Okay, first of all, could you tell us what is your mission for coming to Thailand this time?
Thank you very much. I am a former president of Mongolia. I also serve as a commissioner in an international commission against death penalty. And when I became president in my country in 2009, from first day in my office, I put moratorium on death penalty. And I served my country two terms as president for 8 years. And for 8 years, I fight my country to abolish death penalty. Actually, I entered to my office where our country had a death penalty. When I left my office, our country had no death penalty. And now my country's history divided in two sections. One is the with blood, other one is the without blood. I mean the state history. I regard death penalty as a state killing. We cannot stop bad people killing other people, but we can stop state killing. As a president, as a elected officials, and we serve in the best interest of the people. And just I will tell you what's happening in the world. In the world now, 114 countries actually abolished death penalty for all crimes. And more than 140 countries abolished death penalty in practice and by law. When we say by law means by law for all crimes. When we say in practice means countries which not executing people for 10 years and above, and we call them in practice. That's the situation. And through the ICDP, International Commission Against Death Penalty, I came with the former president of Philippines, Gloria Macapagal Arroyo, with her and with my secretariat. We came here and we met some officials here, and we talked about the human rights situation, death penalty situation in Thailand.
So if we gonna abolish the death penalty, what is the alternative ways of punishment that you think is suitable?
You know, not the severity of punishment, but certainty of punishment matters more. If court makes decision and give the penalty for one person which is innocent is bad. Of course, if court makes decision, gives the death to one person is worst. And if there is any room to executing innocent person, it's not justice. For example, in the United States, there is statistics. After carrying out death penalty for the inmates in a death row, 4% of all those executions found out they were innocent. Actually, United States has a longer term in jail, and they do everything, try to avoid to execute innocent person, but that happens. In America, for example, 26 states abolished death penalty. 3 states now put moratorium. What will be alternative for Thailand, for example? There are every country is actually having its own way. For Mongolia, actually we use it international wing. My country first became the part of the moratorium, United Nations moratorium on death penalty. We approved that policy in our parliament. And through that, we got an international duty not apply death penalty. And also some countries, for example, I just talk maybe when I talk about ASEAN countries, for 10 countries, what's happening with ASEAN. And Thailand is one of the members of the ASEAN. And there are 2 countries abolished death penalty. Cambodia abolished death penalty. Philippines abolished death penalty. Malaysia just made decision not to apply death penalty to drug-related crimes. They They're not applying drug-related crimes. They made death penalty discretionary, means judge can choose to give for life or death penalty. That's one way. Indonesia, if person gets death penalty, they not executing for 10 years. They are waiting. And that's also good policy. And I know that Brunei, for example, not giving the death penalty since 1957. It's like a 60 some years. And Laos not executing people since 1989 for 35 years. In Thailand, there was last execution in 2018. And since then, there is no execution, but in Thailand, there are more than 300 men in death row and 30 women in death row. And last year was no commutation, and I hope people will appeal to that. And also locally, for example, in China, in an Asian country, they reduced application of death penalty. There were the 80 crimes applied death penalty. They reduced to 40. And they can do that. In Mongolia, we became part of the international movement and part of the international agreement. And through that, we changed our law. And it took for me 8 years. Before that, Mongolia regarded very bad example in terms of the death penalty, because it was very secretive, and it was very cruel. And we stopped that.
Can you please give us some details of how Thai government, Thai officials react to this
Thank you.
cooperation that you're trying to make?
And also from European Union and namely the Embassy of Spain actually helped us to meet officials here. And with the collaboration of the Embassy of Spain, we met officials in Justice Ministry, and we met officials from the Foreign Ministry, and we met some members of Parliament, and also we met Human Rights Commission of Thailand. And we had quite a long discussion. And they reported us how Thailand is doing, government of Thailand is doing to improve human rights situation, and how they think to go towards the abolishing. And it was actually encouraging. I think Thailand may have a step-by-step approach, and we are ready to work with Thailand. One thing is certain, one day Thailand will abolish death penalty, one day. But we always say that maybe this time it's good time. New government, new policy, and Thailand also going to be one of the members, United Nations Human Rights Council and other places. Maybe it's really good. If you want to improve human rights situation in your country, usually a stepping stone, but that red line is the death penalty. If you abolish death penalty, from that, that human rights situation usually improves. If you have death penalty, if your state is killing, that will stay there. And when you close that door, after that you will think about the situation in prison. And after that you will improve gradually. You know that those policies towards disabled people and others. I know that from my practice, death penalty not serving in public interest, because person who has less money, less finance, less network, death penalty can be applied for them. For ordinary people, for your brother, for your father, for your mother, for your sister, death penalty can be applied. If someone has great connections and good lawyers, they may avoid death penalty. Because of that, death penalty serves not in a public interest. Also not serves in a justice interest, because there is always room you may execute innocent person. And because of that, many countries go away from death penalty. In terms of death penalty, I work a lot in Africa. In Africa, for example, 54 countries. Only now 5 countries have a death penalty. And in Central Asia, my country and all those 5 Central Asian countries have no death penalty. Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan, Tajikistan, Kyrgyzstan, all those countries have no death penalty. There are one country, for example, since 1863, one country is having no death penalty. That's Venezuela. It can be happen. There is one country for 800 years has no death penalty. That's Maldives. Only one execution they had in 1960s. For 800 years, Maldives regarded Muslim country. And there is great saying from the great Mahatma Gandhi. I like that saying: "An eye for an eye will make world blind." And we need to end up with this. I think Thailand and people and government can do better for abolishing death penalty, and there are many people, many organizations can help. You are not alone.
Could you give us more detail about your organization, the
ICDP, International Commission Against Death Penalty, is an international organization, and from the name you understand that, against death penalty. And there are 22 commissioners. I'm the one of them, and Madam President, former President Philippine, also commissioner, and there are who were the heads of state, president and prime minister and minister of justice and human rights campaigners we are the commissioners. And our headquarters in Madrid, in Spain, and we work there and to protect right to life. And also one thing I would like to mention, my country, for example, Buddhist country, not the severity of punishment matters. I told that the certainty of punishment matters. Not some leaders think that in a political life, I'm a strong man, I'm a strong person, we need to have more cruel punishment. But a strong person usually not cruelty, but mercy matters in our Buddhist country. If you have more mercy towards to your people, towards to your countrymen, it usually that country benefits from that. That's my experience.
All right. So lastly, do you have any plan after Thailand? Do you have any plan to visit other countries?
And this mission is focused on Thailand, and we have other plans. Of course, we will watch very closely. We will provide. When I met with the Thai officials, we gave all those cases how countries abolish death penalty. Every country has its own path, and we shared this information. And further, European Union, United Nations Human Rights Organization, and also International Commission Against Death Penalty, all those people, Amnesty International, and there are World Congress Against Death Penalty, and we will work with Thailand. I think to stop death penalty, and Thailand can be one country abolish death penalty. I told that ASEAN, for example, there are 10 countries, now 6 of them regarded abolitionist country and moving towards abolishing death penalty. And we will work with you very closely. Thank you.
Okay, all right. Thank you so much for your time.